If the very ground of your independent thought is shifting beneath your feet, manipulated by unseen forces and inherent biases, then what are the tangible consequences? This isn't just about abstract philosophy. It's about the very trajectory of your life, the decisions you make, the relationships you forge, and the kind of society we collectively construct. The consequences are often invisible, yet profoundly impactful, shaping your reality without your conscious consent. Consider your choices. From the career path you've chosen, to the partner you've selected, to the brands you patronize. How many of these decisions are truly expressions of your authentic desire, and how many are the carefully engineered outcomes of societal expectations, advertising algorithms, and the subtle pressures of your peer group? You believe you meticulously weighed the pros and cons, but your brain's inherent anchoring bias might have already set an initial subconscious reference point, making subsequent judgments conform to that arbitrary starting value. You might choose a prestigious career not because it aligns with your soul's deepest calling, but because success has been culturally defined for you in a way that prioritizes status over fulfillment. This isn't a conscious conspiracy, it's a quiet, insidious phenomenon, a constant, low-frequency hum beneath the surface of your awareness. This extends to your emotions and your identity. Have you ever felt a surge of unexplainable anxiety when scrolling through social media, or a gnawing sense of inadequacy despite outward success? Much of this distress isn't born from an internal flaw, but from a relentless, often subconscious, comparison to curated, idealized versions of life presented to you. The availability heuristic means your brain latches onto readily available information, the highlight reels of others, and assumes it's representative of reality, leading you to believe you're falling short. Your sense of self, your very worth, becomes intrinsically tied to external validations that are, in turn, shaped by what society deems desirable. You begin to define yourself not by who you are, but by how well you conform to a prepackaged template of the good life, a template you never explicitly agreed to. This collective lack of true independent thought manifests profoundly in the fabric of society itself. How many societal norms, political ideologies, or economic systems persist not because they are inherently just or efficient, but because they have been ingrained through generations of cultural transmission and reinforced by the powerful bandwagon effect? People adopt beliefs and behaviors simply because many others do, creating an almost impenetrable consensus, a feedback loop where conformity is mistaken for truth. Think about the pervasive myths that underpin our consumer culture, the idea that happiness can be bought, that constant growth is sustainable, that technological advancement alone will solve all our problems. These aren't just ideas, they are deeply embedded narratives that dictate collective behavior, economic policy, and even environmental destruction. And what about dissent? When a truly novel, genuinely independent thought emerges, it often faces immense resistance. The groupthink phenomenon ensures that uncomfortable truths or challenging ideas are quickly marginalized, dismissed, or even demonized, not because they lack merit, but because they threaten the comforting illusion of consensus. Those who dare to think outside the echo chamber are labeled outliers, contrarians, or even dangerous. This isn't an overt act of suppression, it's a subtle, almost biological imperative for the collective to maintain its coherence, its established order. The individual who questions too deeply becomes a threat to the comfortable equilibrium of the collective mind. The consequence: a world where critical problems persist, not for lack of intelligence or resources, but for a profound inability to collectively think outside the very paradigms that created those problems. A world where personal suffering, anxiety, and a pervasive sense of disconnect become the norm because individuals are perpetually trying to fit into a mold that was never designed for their unique being. This isn't just about missing out on intellectual breakthroughs. It's about sacrificing your authentic self, your potential for genuine fulfillment, on the altar of a collective mind that operates on autopilot. The question then becomes, if we are trapped in this invisible cage of conformity, how do we even begin to find the key?